Hey everyone, welcome to a little bit of woo woo. I'm so excited to have Tamara on again. I'm going to introduce her for those of you who don't actually know her. It's Mara Clear Spring Cook, Shamanic Practitioner and teacher, Stars and Stones Medicine Woman, which I love that introduction. We're going to be talking a bit about the astrology of what's going on right now because I'm hearing those from my clients. I think I mentioned in my last video, almost all of my hypnotherapy clients right now are coming in for anxiety. And most of my reading clients have got anxiety, but they're usually anxious about a job. So, Mara, can you give us a sense astrologically of what's going on right now? I know that we've got some events. We're going to talk about some specific things that are coming and stuff that's just happened. Can you kind of give us a big picture story of what's going on?
I want to like draw an analogy here. That whole thing where you put the lobster in the pot and you turn the heat on so you bring the water up slowly so it doesn't know it's being cooked. Well, we're kind of at the boiling point now.
Okay.
And
That makes sense.
that's like a very quick analogy of what's going on. All of 2024 has been a lot of provocative and chaotic energy events, including, of course, the solar cycle, which is just at a maximum with all kinds of X flares and proton storms and radio blackouts, all that kind of stuff going on, which even if you don't follow astrology, it's got your skin crawling. If you're even this much psychic, you're feeling this energy stimulation. That's just one heavenly body, our sun, the local star. So when you think about all the planets and all the things that they've been doing, and then there's the stars themselves, because some people include those stars in astrology, and they certainly form the constellations that we use in astrology. All of these things are in such flux, so much play right now. In fact, we've got, let's see how many it is. All the outer planets are in retrograde. And I don't know what date it is. It's right around the time Pluto ends its retrograde. Jupiter will go retrograde.
Tell
So
us
we
the
will
date
have,
on that, though. What is the date on that? Do you know?
let's see. I have it in here somewhere. Hang on a second.
Isn't
I had to make notes
19th?
because there's too much. On October 9, Jupiter
Okay.
stations retrograde in Gemini. And Pluto doesn't come out of its last retrograde until October 11. So from October 9, 10, and 11, let me mark those dates on your calendar, intensity dates. So when planets are in retrograde, that means they are not just moving in what appears to us a backward fashion. It also means they're the closest in their approach to us. The closer a planet is to the Earth, the more influence it has on us. So we're getting more of the message, the story, the influence from that particular archetype. We all know Pluto has been messing with us.
Yeah,
I
talk a little bit about that. You said, messing with us, but what specifically kind of can people expect from this energy, which is not normal. We don't, it can be chaotic a lot, but this particular energy it's been special.
Well, here's the thing. Pluto is not just retrograding. It's going back and forth between two signs that are very different from each other. Now, Pluto has been in Capricorn since 2008. Now, what can you think about that? That seems
Ooh,
very disruptive.
yeah.
Yeah, it just started out with a bang. And then we've had so many disruptive things happen through Pluto's travels through Capricorn. So Pluto is all about hierarchy. It's about power, control, rebirth. After you die, first you have to die before you can be reborn, right? So there's a lot of mystical uh, power structure take apart when Pluto's in Capricorn, because Capricorn wants to have hierarchy, patriarchy, and status. So this is all being torn apart right now because Pluto's in the last degree of Capricorn, what they call the anaretic degree. This is where the shadow of Capricorn is strongest. So that's where we're seeing a lot of people really clutching their whatever, trying to protect themselves. They don't want to lose money. They don't want to lose power. They don't want to lose influence. They don't want to lose face. You know what I mean? So you can expect a lot of ego bumping, a lot of chest thumping as people who are egocentric feel the threatening status of their structure.
Well, I also think too, people are just uncomfortable with change in general, and when they can feel the energy change, there's this chaos that goes along with it. You know, in the macroeconomics world, and this isn't psychic, but I'm just going to share from what I understand. A lot of people theorize that we really kind of have been in a mild depression since 2008, since Lehman Brothers, because of kind of economic structures that never really, jobs never really came back. Some jobs just left in 2008, never really came back. So it is interesting, and also interesting the way the government counts jobs. A lot of times the unemployment numbers are really quite a bit higher than is being reported, because if a person's been unemployed for a period of time, the government just takes their, doesn't count them as unemployed anyway. Says, well, they just gave up. That's not true. They just didn't find anything. But it is interesting to see sort of the government kind of data being massaged in order to try and make, honestly, not necessarily nefarious. I think some of it is to try and get people to feel like things are fine when maybe they would feel a little bit more nervous. But it is interesting what you're describing, because I'm seeing a lot of, and we've been talking about this on the show, a lot of disclosure events in the last few months. A lot of information coming out about sort of what's been happening. Is that part of this?
Sure. A revealing of truth and lies, light and shadow, deception and redemption. So there are a lot of opportunities here. One of the things I'd like to say about what you're saying about numbers being played around with, and I invite people to go look this up because I am not an expert. Since 2008, and especially through our shutdown years, all the wealth has moved. Like 70% of the wealth has moved to the top few percent here in the country. So let's talk about control. How do you control people? Take away their money, take away their ability to take good care of themselves. And it looks like those who are in control would like to come up with even more devious ways and more impenetrable ways to keep this control.
I love that you brought that up. And I will say we kind of have to veer off of that topic, because some of you guys know I am a big fan of a show that's on YouTube called the Maverick of Wall Street. And he said something a couple of steps ahead of what you're talking about on what you're talking about. And his show got pulled from YouTube. And it was only because he has some very famous people friends who made a lot of stink about it that he got his show back. So I'm just pointing out that there's people in positions of power that don't really want that discussed. But yes, you're right.
I think it depends on who's talking about it, because I've heard this. I got this information from somebody completely different field from business and finance. So it is likely that they did not get seen for what they were saying.
That is fair. So one thing you said, I just want to go back to it really quick, because you said the energy is going to shift, 9, 10, and 11, October 9th, 10th, and 11th. And forgive me if I'm saying this wrong.
That's just one set of dates.
One set of dates. Okay. So my experience, and tell me if I'm wrong, and I do want you to tell me if I'm wrong. My experience has been when there's this big high energy kind of chaotic transition between one way and another way, or one pattern and another pattern. That's when people get these amazing, like, ideas, like, oh my God, I could try this, a disruptor type ideas. Like, I'm going to guess that the person that came up with Airbnb, that idea may have come to him during one of these moments. Is that kind of what you're talking about? Or is that some benefit you can get from these dates?
The latter. It is a benefit. When we have disruption, it allows things to be revealed.
Ooh,
like you were saying.
Like it. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's the whistleblowers, but there's also the dream makers and the intuitors and the people that take the garage idea and it becomes, one of the top industries in the world. So let's bring back from October back here into September, back to September 17 and 18, when we have the full moon eclipse. It's a super moon. It's a full moon. It's a partial eclipse. and it's happening in Pisces, and it is a very activating eclipse and full moon, because that thing you're talking about, where disruption brings about not just chaos, but also, gold. You got to dig in the ground and boom, there's gold, kind of thing. So it reveals the gold. And so this is the kind of thing to expect inside each of us individually as we move through this eclipse portal that starts on the 17th, 18th of September, and then closes with the full or the new moon annular eclipse on October 2nd. So you can see that first week of October, the first part of October, is going to have a lot of energy, because now we're closing a portal. We're in a new state of being. We've moved through years of change in just 2 weeks. And it's all riding on this Pluto back in Capricorn for the last visit for another 240 plus years.
Love it. So what kind of activities would you say would be very beneficial during that time? Because I mean, I have a lot of entrepreneurs watch this channel. I know because I see it in the comments, guys. What kinds of things could be beneficial for them?
Okay, one of the things everybody really wants to do is just, I hate doing this because I'm a solopreneur and a heart-based business, and I don't like to sit around and play with numbers. Yet when I sit and do it, I get so much good information. Look at your numbers. Go ahead, take a look at your numbers. You got to do it. You got to look and see, where have your efforts yielded results, and where are you spinning your wheels? You got to look inside yourself. Where do I like spending my time? Where do I want to spend more time? How am I balanced? This is so much about balance. It's right before the equinox, which is the balanced day and night cycle that we go through twice a year, right? This is the Libra equinox, the fall equinox in the northern hemisphere, happens on the 22nd of September, so just a few
Looking up
days.
the dates.
Huh?
I was looking up the dates as you were saying it. Okay,
Oh no,
September
I
22nd.
got. Yeah, it's very,
Okay.
very close. So and Pisces, the full moon, the moon will be in Pisces. So and we are receiving this end of a cycle signal. Whenever you have a full moon, that's the end of a cycle. When you have an eclipse, that's an end of a cycle. When you are in Pisces, that's the end of the whole cycle of the zodiac. So endings, endings, endings that birth beginnings. So anybody, back to the original question, who has their own business, who they are the visionary for their company, for their endeavor, for their vocation, if you will. This is the time to take an accounting. How is it doing? How am I doing? Full moon, full in the sun, and where do we need to bring a new alignment in?
I love that. I mean, I tried as a business owner, I try and do that once a year. And even from, as a householder, I do the same thing. Not to be a commercial, and I won't say the name, but we did save a stupid amount of money by changing our insurance policies to another company. And I was like stunned, because I thought, how is it that these companies can have such different prices for the same product? And it's astonishing. So I love your advice. Check the numbers, look for inspiration. It feels like it's going to be coming. I would add to that, try not to get too caught up in what's going on in the news. Try not to get up and, some of it's very entertaining, I got to admit. I've never thought politics would be humorous, but to be getting caught up into it and being, thinking that all of these people are saints or sinners, it's just a drama. It's like the worst kind of reality TV, but it's entertaining.
Exactly. That's it. Use it as an education.
There you
Where is
go.
that person's? I'm noticing this thing about a candidate or a commentator or a man on the street answering questions that somebody's interviewing about. Where is that inside of me? How am I judging that person? How am I judging myself? Am I alive? Am I awake? Am I even thinking? Use it as a slap. Wake up. Because if we could have more people wake up, maybe things wouldn't be quite so ridiculous.
There was something else you said I want to go back to. People
Yeah.
are intuitively, and I'm seeing this in my clients. And can you talk a bit about how people do seem to be getting a lot more intuitive information right now, a lot more of it, and they're hearing information they know is not true, but they're not really sure exactly how or what. Can you give us some insight, if you can, about how you can tell if the information is real, if it's a real intuitive information or if it's more, I'm just scared because I've been watching too much TV.
Well, first of all, turn off the TV for 12 hours and see how you feel.
That's
Get away from that contact high. Just turn it off. Anybody who's having anxiety, please, except for this podcast, turn everything off. Because that energy is coming at you, and it's not just light photons from the screen. It is energy that literally transmits and hits you and strikes you. So I would say walk away from it. Go outside, be in nature, go get involved in a project, go hang out with really good people, and don't talk about politics. All you're going to do is it's perpetuate. It's like you're feeding energy. Think of it. You're taking your own precious energy and you're putting it into this engine that all it's doing is creating noise and making a mess.
It's a very good point. Yeah. I mean, I would also watch some cat videos. I would also add that Mormon Housewives show on Hulu was a little bit of a good train wreckage if you're interested. I'm not trying to tell you, but if you're in the mood for some good, high quality train wreckage, yeah, that's good. That's good. Put in the comments.
That might give me anxiety.
Really, it's something. Put in the comments if there's a show that is guilty pleasure because I personally, as a connoisseur of human folly, I do enjoy those 90 Day Fiance. The polygamy shows. I love that stuff because I think it pulls me away from the stuff. But of course, when you get into politics, I feel like politics pulls you away from your spiritual path. Some of that stuff makes you, I don't know, it's fun. I think it
makes you resonate with past lives where
that's a good answer.
Affected you in a different way. So whenever we have really stimulating events and, politics, the economy, weather, extreme weather events, conflicts between different countries, whenever we have these events, it stimulates us. And if we have unresolved past life issues that resonate to that, then it can pull it forward and it can feed our anxiety and our worry. This is not an intuitive state. If you want to know if your intuition is on target, get your body regulated, get your metabolism down, get your roots in the ground. And that takes space away from the stimulus that is evoking everything.
It also takes practice, I will say. The practice to just be able to pull away. You're right. That's a good point. Yeah. Anything else you want to say along those astrology lines before we end, or anything else? We're definitely going to talk about an offering that you've got coming up.
Sure. I think what else I would like to mention is anytime we're talking, this is a little political thing. Can I just say it?
Sure.
Okay. So on election day, and we can do more podcasts about this later, but on election day, okay. And I've looked at the astrology for it, and I'm going to spend more time looking at it because it's all fascinating. So Mars, which is right now in Cancer, which means Mars does not like to be in Cancer. Mars is assertive and take action and doesn't really have, it's not connected to the heart so much. And Cancer is the sign of the heart and hugs and tenderness. So Cancer, when Mars is in Cancer, we have a tendency towards passive aggressive expression of anger and displeasure. So that can really eat away at you. And it's moving into Leo. It'll be at 0 degrees Leo on election day.
Great. Sounds like a perfect recipe.
Yeah, it's a transition into this fire energy. But what I thought was super interesting about Mars in Leo on election day is both the candidates have their Mars in Leo, only 5 degrees apart from each other. There's a lot you could say about that, but I would say neither one is going to back down.
Yeah, well, we saw that in the debates. This is being recorded on September 13th at 3:30 Pacific. So we did see that in the debates that neither one of them was going to back down. Oh, last thing I want to ask, we are going to talk about your offering. The last thing I want to ask is what happens? We talked about October 9th, 10th, and 11th. What happens when it moves from Capricorn to the other sign? After that
into Aquarius.
Yes, thank you. What happens then?
Then the Aquarian energies activate again. And Aquarius is completely different from Capricorn. Capricorn is hierarchical. Aquarius is more collaborative. Capricorn cares about structures, power, money, and control. Aquarius cares about community, agreement, a universalism. Okay. It is not necessarily an emotional sign. It's associated with things like technology, think AI and people flying to Mars. And it's associated with that intuitiveness that you're talking about. Aquarians and Pisceans are very intuitive people. They are in the last two signs of the zodiac. So this is when we're getting closer and closer to death, basically. And so what do you know about people who are getting closer to death? They're literally able to see between the worlds. They see things that other folks can't see. So that intuitiveness, especially for people who are Pisces and who are Aquarius, but for anyone, is being amplified as Pluto moves back into Aquarius, and this new age which is that much closer to really being in it.
So what would be, so we've got only about a month left of this energy. Is there anything particular that if you're working on a project, that you should finish up now while we're in this energy before you move to next month where it's going to be a little more collaborative? Is there anything like that?
I would say, pull on your Virgo hat and really kind of look at what is in your life physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and take an inventory and clean up, clean up, clean up. Get ready. Tell the universe, I'm ready for some good messages. Ask for the answers and then listen. Listen by writing down your dreams. Listen by setting 5 minutes a day aside to meditate or to do a breathing practice or something. Create a channel so you can let it come through, but take care of business now, because there's going to be shifts and changes on it. Like you said, people don't like change.
I
People don't
like
like
that.
it.
I like that answer too. Like the idea of taking care of business now, and in the next month it could be a little more collaborative, working together as in teams. But like the cleanup idea, that makes so much sense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else on
And,
that?
and maybe you're going to start laying down the foundations for collaborations. Like you and I are collaborating. We're
True.
doing this wonderful podcast together. So maybe you'll be getting a hit. Oh, I need to contact so and so. We're going to put together a program for people to get through the holidays. Or I'm going to create a new product, and it's going to bring people a whole new understanding of XYZ. That these things can be coming in, and you're laying the groundwork. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily be launching them right now, but unless you've already got everything ready to go and you're like, yeah, I got this. But you can get the seeds planted, but be sure you're just pulling out all the weeds first.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so tell us about this offering you've got coming up in a couple of days. You've got these great programs you put together. So tell us about one.
Well, this is super affordable, and it's a way to receive what I call lazy shamanism. So you don't have to do anything except for register for this. And you can put a little bit of extra effort in if you join the Facebook group. So I am going to put together a shamanic container, which means I'm opening up a sacred space, an intentional circle for people that starts on September 17, the first eclipse, and holds people through that whole transformation tunnel until the exit portal on October 2nd. And that means I'm going to do a special journey that does healing work for everybody. Plus, later on, I'll do another journey where I'm checking in on how everyone's doing. I'll have an opening where I open sacred space and share that with everybody. And then a closing where I share the closing of sacred space. So I'm creating this place where people can go through this transformation, and not, especially for intuitives and healers and seekers, people who have psychic abilities and can feel there's so much going on. This is to help you be able to focus on what you need for you. And there's a Facebook group, which is optional. If people want to, they can drop into that. I will be extending the invitation just to people that are part of this little project that we're doing. And then they can share experiences and connection, and a bunch of spammers won't be allowed in. It's a private Facebook group.
Well, and I've done your events like this before, and they're always amazing. And it's it's inexpensive. It's online. There's not for those of us who are busy, not a lot of work you have to put in, but it does. You can actually feel it energetically when somebody does remote healing on you. It's absolutely profound. So,
Every time I
how
do
can
my
people?
master, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead. No,
Every
no,
time I do my master journeys and stuff, I get the most beautiful emails from people like, Mara, I could feel it when you were doing the thing. And oh, I felt so great afterwards.
you
I
really
listened
can
to
feel
it
it.
again. Yeah.
Yeah, you really can
Yeah.
feel it. No, no question
It's
on that.
crazy.
So, give us your. I'm going to put the link in the description, but give us your website name again.
maraclearspring.com and click on the events tab.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thanks so much, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I really appreciate all the kind words and comments. It means a lot to me. And please like and subscribe if this does it for you. And look forward to seeing you guys next time. Thanks so much. Bye. Bye. Bye.